Well, hello and welcome to the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. It is right now in Australia in the secret location. You'd be like, bitch, what are you talking about? It is currently 5:34 p.m. It is the 1st of June 2025. I can't believe it. I really cannot believe it is the 1st of June today. I don't know what to say other than welcome. So, if you are new to the game, then hello, my name is Amanda. This is the Tequila Hour where I pretty much talk about anything and everything I want to talk about. So, it could be about makeup, it could be about dirt. Though I've never talked about dirt. It could be about the subject that I'm going to talk about today, which is all around quantum entanglement. So, if you're interested in that particular subject, hold on to your fucking panties. We're going to talk about it today. But first, I am going to do, and you know what I'm going to do, some fucking admin. Boom! What a week it has been. So, if you are playing along, you would recognize that I have moved into a new position at my place of employment, which is, to be honest, it is nerve-wracking. I know it is. It's exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. Don't ask me why. Thanks, Rose. It is. It's a place where I've wanted to be for a very long time. I'm not going to lie, though, at the same time, it's a place that for me is unusual because the feelings I'm feeling right now are quite sublime and I'm not used to it. And for someone like myself, I will try and explain or analyze why I'm feeling a certain way, where I should just let it be and go with it. So there's that. It's been a great week. It's been a very short week. I've had a great time going out with some girlfriends during the week and having a drink and relaxing and just shooting the breeze, having a dance and having fun. May I say, though, I realised off the back of all of this, this particular night that I went out with some girlfriends, that, yeah, I am now not the cool girlfriend, but the mum. I'm old. I don't feel that old, but suffice to say, it's one of those things where I realise that I'm the protector and the mum in this situation, not the girl that just goes out, gets fucked up, and just gets looked after. So there's that. Anyway, that's all good. I can handle that. Can I? No, apparently I can't. It's all good. So, for those who have never listened to this podcast before, hello, my name is Amanda. This is the Tequila Hour. And today, if you just happen to catch me on Instagram and wonder what the fuck are you going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about a particular subject that is complex, is very thought-provoking, is something that I have been on and off ruminating about for quite some time, And today I'm very exciting. See, I'm not excited, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm very excited to share some of the things that I am working on, let alone the theory and the movement that I'm going to be progressing into and throughout the next couple of years. And I'm not going to cut the shit. This is very deep, very complex, very analytic, very could be for some off the chain subject that I'm going to talk about today. But for me, it seems logical to me. It seems like something I just truly, with my heart of hearts, I'm compelled to work on. And it's to the point where this is a project that I am drawn to, compelled to do, compelled to solve. Do I know what it's going to sound like or look like in its entirety? No, I'm not. I will say, though, that I am really, truly up for the adventure that is the subject that I'm going to talk about today and moving forward. Today is the first episode in a series of episodes that I will produce around quantum development. Yeah, I'll spit it out eventually. And I will say to you that as I move through the theoretical not all, and the analysis of this particular subject and my ideas around this, I'd love you to follow me on this journey. I can clearly see through my expansiveness that it's not just going to be a topic of a podcast. It's going to be but will be a book, a novel to explain my theory. It will be a podcast. It will be an application, as in a phone application. It will be. You'll need to unlock your iPhone first. Now my phone is talking to me, which is very interesting because there's all of that. It's just, there's AI, there's theories, there's ideas, there's a lot. So if this interests you at all, I'm just going to play some music. I'm going to grab a drink. Well, I'll explain what I'm drinking in a second, and we'll go from there. Not that. Let's try again. We are now at Sunday. It is the 1st of June 2024. It is 5:42 p.m. It is 5:42 p.m. in Australia, in New South Wales. I don't know what I'm saying. In a secret location. My name is Amanda. Yes, you could probably surmise and work out that I've had a couple of drinks today. I will explain my mindset in a second, but I will tell you right now that I am drinking a Smirnoff. I'll just turn the can around. Smirnoff Ice, double black, zero sugar. No, I'm not drinking tequila, even though it is the tequila hour. Also, on the side, have a Kirk's sugar-free lemon can. Let me open it. Probably should drink some of that because I'm kind of feeling two sheets to the wind. Is that what they say? Anyway, I will rate it in. Suffice to say, and I need to stop saying suffice. I need to come up with a better word. Anyway, quantum entanglement, quantum development. This is huge. I have taken a long time, to be honest, to even discuss some of the theories that I'm going to propose to you in a podcast today, very likely it is because I am nervous to even start a whole conversation around this topic because I don't even understand it in its entirety. That's how huge this particular topic is for me. I will say to you though that I have, I don't know, surmised, kind of hinted at this particular topic of discussion today because it is something that I'm not going to go straight to it. I don't know why. I don't know why. And this is weird. This is weird. We get weird and funky and all of the above. I don't know why I am the one to try and explain or promote or solve this particular topic of discussion today. All I know is that I am drawn to it very deeply in my soul. And if you know, if you've listened to some of the podcasts that I've delivered in the past, you will know that I am someone who is on a journey of self discovery. I am someone who is open to all and the above. And for me, this is a topic that truly does, in its entirety, completely fascinate me, completely drawn to. And in the end, I'm going to call it, this is my life's mission. Don't know, this sounds really extreme, and you're probably like, Amanda, are you on the wacky? Not today. I'm not. Yes, I've had a couple of drinks. I'm not going to lie. No, right at this moment, I'm not on the wacky. I will say to you, though, that this is a theory, a whole event, a whole, I don't know, I don't really know. But I want to talk about it because it's something that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time. And this is the thing where you get to a point where you're like, when are you ready to talk about it? Really? And there's been a couple of things that, you know, if you want to read between the lines, that you've probably noticed that I've broadcasted on my Instagram pages, being the Tequila Hour and the _1_Amanda, which is my personal page, where you've probably gone, what the fuck are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. And for anyone, I've never really, actually haven't talked about this at all to anyone in my life, let alone even the people who I explicitly, is that the word? I can't even speak. I've never really talked about it. So I'm going to talk about it today. I will be completing, this is like the first episode in a series. I don't know how long the series will be. It probably will be quite long. It could be 10. I'm aiming for 10 episodes. It could be 20. It could be 50. This is how expansive this particular subject is. I'm going to say to you right now, it's probably going to be 10. I'm going to say to you that, yes, on the Tequila Hour, which is my podcast, I will talk about other things, of course, but today this will be a separate, aligned podcast series where I talk about this particular subject, which is quantum development. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, no, I'm not a quantum physicist. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. I'm not in any kind of quantum theoretical analysis in any shape or form. If you know me in real life, you probably didn't even realise that this is something that completely absorbs my mind at certain periods of time. I will say to you right now, that is something that I am completely, I'm going to say disillusioned. It's not the word that, and now I'm thinking shit. It's not the word that I want to use. I'm not an expert, okay, in any way. I'm going to tell you right now, what I am, though, is someone who is driven, passionate, a leader in bringing people together and getting resources to try and work out shit. Will that align with the discussion that I'm going to commence today? I don't know. All I know is that I am compelled to start this discussion, and no, I'm not going to tell you what it looks like in its entirety right now, but I will talk about what I know thus far and where I want to go moving forward. So, again, if this is something that you'd be like, Amanda, what are you talking about? I'm talking about quantum entanglement. Probably is the simplest in its terms. I will explain to you what that is in simple terms. I will talk about other, I know, in air brackets, discussions around quantum entanglement, and then I will give you a synopsis of what I'm leading into. So let's go. Okay, it's a lot. It's a lot, isn't it? You'd be like, quantum entanglement? Really, Amanda? Is that where you're going? If you've listened to this podcast before, I have talked about quantum entanglement. Yes, I truly have. And yes, I can go into the explanation of what that is in regards to physics in simplistic terms. Like I said, I'm not a physicist, okay? What I am leading into is I have an idea or a theory. Well, it's not an idea, it actually is a theory that I'm working on, and it is something that I want to create leading into, and I don't know, this is the thing. It is huge, it is expensive, it is very large. Suffice to say, it's probably going to take me many years. And I'm aware of this. I'm aware of the vastness of this particular subject that I'm talking about today because I'm not a physicist. And this is the thing. If I was to say to you in simple terms, quantum entanglement, and I'll use a vision, this is very simplistic, and you'd be like, really? Is this all you can come up with? But this is what I'm going to use today as my example. If I was to say there was two coins, okay, two coins on the table, like as in a coin. You know what a fucking coin is. A coin, okay? If I would say to you that they're both spinning, okay, at the same speed, but one coin is here right now in Australia in Mannering Park, which is a secret location. Yet I'm getting straight to it. This is right now I'm spinning a coin, okay? I'm not actually, but I'm symbolizing. If there is a coin that I'm spinning, and if I was to say to you there's another coin that's in Norway, spinning, and we spun the same type of coin or a coin at the same time, and the frequency was the same, and I through whatever reason, my coin stopped. The coin in Norway would stop at the exact time. This is quantum entanglement. The end. Yes, I will, when I'm not so confused, I will explain it in better reasons. But to say that there's two coins, completely different areas, they're both aligned. One coin stops, the other stops. This is quantum entanglement. I'm not going to go into specifics about it. I'm going to say to you that this is a theory. This is not my theory, but an actual theory in science and physics. I will explain it better when I'm not so drunk, but I will explain it better. What I'm also going to lead into today is a theory that was, I don't know, I don't want to use the word surmise, but it's a theory that they worked on. And clearly, I don't know why this theory hasn't gone anywhere, to be honest, but it kind of aligns with a theory that I have and the theory that I'm working on and the theory that in the background. I'm right outside my house. It is one theory that I'm very interested in. It's not the theory that I am surmising or theoretically surmising, announcing, discussing. I don't know. This is the thing. Like I said, this is very, for me, confusing because I'm not a physicist, right? So it's very hard for me to explain everything, and I will explain it better than what I'm trying to explain it right now. But I really was completely compelled to talk about this particular subject today because I just need to. It really is. I need to go. I need to start. And it is something that, like, for example, yesterday I've come up with, well, not yesterday I came up with this plan, but I have a plan. I actually am now, created an account with IBM. I'm going to use, and I need to learn through data analysis. I need to create code through Python. There's a whole thing. This is the thing. Like, I'm not, I'm not. I will say to you though, for whatever reason, this is it. And this is a purpose in my life that I am drawn to create. And I don't know if it's to solve, I don't know if it's just to start and let it be in existence. I don't know. So this is the this is the conundrum that I'm dealing with. I will say to you though that I will, and I am working on this privately right now about quantum development. This will come into existence. I am that bitch that will make it happen. And I'm very excited to see where this goes. So I had an idea. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. You'd be like, Amanda, what's your idea? If you haven't fallen asleep, hi, my name's Amanda. This is Tequila Hour, where I talk about lots of shit. But today I'm talking about quantum entanglement and orchestrated objective reduction. You'd be like, what, bitch? No, I haven't talked about this in its entirety. I have hinted at my personal project, and this is a personal project. I don't know the whole machinations of this project in its entirety because it's that vast. I'm not going to lie. I will say to you, though, that I'm up for the challenge, and this is a learning in progress. And I'm going to bring you, as my listeners, along for the ride. This will be a dedicated podcast series separate to my podcast that I deliver every week. I will very likely deliver a dedicated podcast to this particular subject at least once per month. It could be more than that. I do not know. And that is the end. No, I don't have any more than that. All I know is that I am very much compelled to talk about this. I have been for a very long time, and today's the day. I'm trusting and believing today's the day. I don't know why, but it is. So, quantum entanglement. I gave a quick snapshot. I will explain quantum entanglement a lot deeper and further as we progress, because the example I just provided is very simplistic in regards to the two coins. I have a coin and someone has a coin in Norway and they're both spinning, and my coin stops and the person's coin in Norway stops simultaneously at the same time, because through the theory of quantum entanglement, it's all intertwined. There is molecules are dancing and moving together in a particular field. And my field here in Australia, even though separate to the field in Norway, are intertwined and therefore can influence a coin and two coins simultaneously. Like I said, I'm not a physicist. I will go into it in greater in depth as we move along so I can explain the ins and outs of quantum entanglement so you understand. May I say to you, this is something that completely fascinates me. It really, truly does, and moves into something that, for whatever reason, I'm compelled to work on and understand and deliver. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't know. I will say to you that some of the things that I am, if you've listened to this podcast continually for the last 3 years, community, yeah, that's really what it's about, isn't it? Community and support, and one person and another person, whoever that may be. Maybe that be your husband in the next room. May it be a person on the other side of the earth. May it be a person on another side of the universe. Shall we go that far? This is what I'm talking about. Like I said, I don't really understand it, but I'm willing to look like a fucking moron to have a shot at this. So I am compelled, for whatever reason, to create a application, and I've thought about it for a long time, that would connect people. And this is, again, I've thought about this, and this is the thing, this is changing live. We're all on our fucking phones, okay? I can see a future where, and this is happening quite rapidly, where the art of communication and just speaking with people just is becoming less and less and less. The art of communication is more and more and more being facilitated by or through a device, the device being primarily a mobile phone. It is clear to me that I don't think we're going to go backwards. That could happen, where we just, I don't know, there's a campaign and we all chuck our mobile phones into the ocean. I wouldn't be sad if that happened. I don't think that will. I will say to you that as we move into the future, and whatever the future looks like, when we're talking about AI, when we're talking about quantum physics, when we're talking about just the expansiveness of life, that community is such a big piece in all of this to me. To be aligned and be heard and to connect. It's about connection, really, and it's about communication. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't think anyone really knows what that's going to look like in the future. I will say to you, though, as it's moving quite rapidly forward and time seems to be speeding up, for me, that, and for probably most people, that it's the mobile device that is the nexus of communication. It's not just one-on-one conversation anymore. And I would say to you, moving forward, it could be not only a device, but it could be just, I don't know, a supercomputer. I don't know. It could be. It could be just, I don't know, shall we call it id? I don't know, as an example. It's a supercomputer sending out particular commands to the human species to dust. I don't know. Now I'm getting wacky. All I know is that people like myself, we just need human interaction, we need communication, we need to be heard, we want to be heard, and I am at the point now where I can see things are rapidly moving. It's not just the spoken word anymore, it's just all through a device. Now, do I want that? No, I don't. Could it go another way? Very likely, I don't know. But if I was to say to you that I am now looking at an application where I want to connect people through consciousness, that's what I'm talking about. And you'd be like, what? You'd be like, Amanda, have you lost your fucking mind? And you know what? I could have lost my mind. I don't know. I really don't. I will say to you that this is greater than my theories or anybody else's theories. This is, I was going to say God level. I don't know if I want to say that, but I just said it. This is higher than, okay? All I know is as we move into a future that is coming very rapidly, when we think about things like AI, when I think about the loss of one-on-one interaction in work, in life, in everything, where we now are so dependent on an electronic device, how do we create connection? And for me, I think it comes down to quantum entanglement. I don't know why this aligns to this, but this is something that I've thought about for quite some time, where there is the ideal or the theory of quantum entanglement in regards to human consciousness. And then there is creating an application on your phone that relates to this particular subject. And then there is the broader sense of it. Now, you might be like, Amanda, you're full of shit and you're talking out of your ass. Yes, I am. This is my theory now that I'm leaning into, based on other people's theories. I don't know if it's accurate or not. Like I said, it's going to probably take me my lifetime, or at least the next 20 years, to understand, ascertain, and deliver the ideals of what I'm trying to explain in this instance right now on the 1st of June 2025. And I'm comfortable with that because I don't have all the answers and I don't need to. I'd like to give you all the answers. I'm not a fucking robot. I'm not just one person. So this is something where I'm going to need to learn this. And if you are interested in this particular subject, then I would implore you to listen as I follow my journey and follow my journey along the way. And let's see where we go with this. So there is quantum entanglement. I talked about the two coins. I'm going to talk about a subject or a theory that came forth through two people that I never knew or existed, to be honest, but I'm going to talk about it in a second. Anesthetist, sorry, I'll spit it out. An anesthetist, that's a hard word to say when you've had a few drinks. An anesthetist and a physicist. And then I would say to you that my idea really does relate to bringing people together, may it be through, I'm picturing a phone application, but now as I really start exploring this particular idea and theory, I'm thinking the magnetic field just won't work. So I don't know. It could be where there is the theory, there is the application, which is the community that people can come together on, but it's separate to a device because the device emanates a field. Therefore, the field would be what am I trying to say? Would not it would be affected by what I'm trying to deliver or surmise or theoretically advise today. Yeah. I just feel like I'm talking, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in riddles. To me, it makes sense, but let's go for it. So, I talked about quantum entanglement. I will talk about some of the series of quantum physics, not physics as in TH, but physics with a P. but I really want to talk about orchestrated objective reduction. So, like I said, I had an idea for a mobile phone application. I'm not going to call I have it all in my mind, okay? I have a name, I have an working, I don't know, synopsis, direction, point. I don't know how to explain it, but I have an idea for an application on a phone. But thinking about it last night, I'm thinking the electronic waves of a mobile phone would probably affect what I'm trying to create. Therefore, it wouldn't work. I don't know. So there is a theory that would have to likely sit outside a mobile phone. There will be the app that I'll create and community through that. And then my entire theory would be separate to that again. That's what I'm saying. I hope I haven't lost you. Now we're at 6:15, so I'm going to talk about orchestrated objective reduction. Orchestrated objective reduction, OR, is a theory postulating that consciousness originates at the quantum level inside neurons, rather than being a product of neural connections. I'm going to say that again. OR is a theory postulating that consciousness originates at the quantum level inside neurons rather than being a product of neural collections or connections. Or is it is. This is not my theory. I'm going to stop there. I will say to you, this makes a lot of sense to me. This is not my theory. This is not the theory that I'm going to be working on in its entirety, but I am going to be talking about moving forward consciousness in line with connectiveness, in line with community, in line with quantum entanglement. I don't know what it's going to look like. Like I said, there's lots of things I need to work on, including accessing an IBM quantum computer to write code into to try and then create the application that I want to create. And I'm not a fucking physicist or a coder. So this is where I'm struggling. And I don't want you to just think that I'm a fucking moron. I really do want you to look. This is where I'm now at a point where I'm going for it, and if you're interested in what I'm putting down, you are. If you're not, just fucking turn off. I don't give a fuck. I really am aware that a lot of these conversations are very theoretical and therefore can sound woohoo. I will say to you, a lot of it makes perfect sense to me, and this is what I want to work on. So there's that. The mechanism is held to be a quantum process called objective reduction that is orchestrated by cellular structures called microtubules. It is proposed that the theory may answer the hard problem of consciousness and provide a mechanism for free will. The hypothesis was first put forward in the early 1990s by the Nobel laureate for physics Roger Penrose and anaesthetist Stuart Hameroff. The hypothesis combines approaches from molecular biology, neuroscience, pharmacology, physiology, quantum information theory, and quantum gravity, while some other theories assert that consciousness emerges as the complexity of the computations performed by cerebral neurons increases. or persists that consciousness is based on non-compatible quantum processing performed by qubits formed collectively on cellular matribles, a process significantly amplified in the neurons. The qubits are based on oscillating dipoles forming superimposed resonant rings in helical pathways through lattices of microtubules. The oscillations are either electric due to charge separation from London forces or magnetic due to electron spin and possibly due to nuclear spins that can remain isolated for longer periods that occur in gigahertz, megahertz, or kilohertz frequency ranges. Orchestration refers to the hypothetical processes by which connective protons such as microtubule associated protons influence or orchestrate qubit state reduction by modifying the space-time separation of superimposed states. The latter is based on Penrose's objective collapse theory for interpreting quantum mechanics, which postulates the existence of an objective threshold governing the collapse of quantum states, relating to the difference of space-time curvature of these states in the universe fine-scale structure. What am I proposing? That's a lot of words, big words in that particular sentence. What am I proposing? I'm talking about consciousness, human consciousness, in line with quantum theory, in line with quantum entanglement, in line with the ability to then align your own consciousness with someone else for the objective of community. Now, it's not just being friends with someone. I'm talking about, on a very core basis, your consciousness is something that could be measured in terms of quantum entanglement. Therefore, it could be aligned with another human being that resonates at the same frequency as you. And then what does that look like? Does that look like support? Does that look like speaking on that plane? I don't know what that looks like, as in consciousness. Does that look like shifting time? I don't know. This is the thing. I'm not quite sure what I want in regards to the phone application. Could it be where I'm just connecting people through consciousness to consciousness to be a community networking platform? Could it be where I'm creating an application to then align particular consciousness to a deeper sense of personal development? I don't know. I think that's the place that I would like to go. It is clear to me that there's two ways that this could happen. It could be through, well, I know it's going to be through sound, I think, and through a certain hertz and frequency. It is very likely where it could be in a state of deep sleep, because then it's not influenced by other factors. I don't know how to even prove my theories at all. I really do not. All I know is this objective that we're talking about aligns very similar to the objectives that I'm thinking about. And I don't know why this hasn't gone anywhere. As far as I'm aware, and again, I do need to read more about this particular theory that this was surmised or proposed in 2014 and we're now at 2025. I honestly don't know why it didn't go anywhere. Perhaps it would be because it was just so broad and woohoo that a lot of people didn't want to know. It wasn't, I don't know, cool or fanciful in, like it wasn't. I'm thinking of people like Mel Robbins, and I'm thinking about people who, I don't know, Jay Shetty as an example, where, look, fantastic that they've come to a place where they've been able to promote a lot of their narratives into an open space that have made people feel more comfortable with talking about, self and understanding self and lots of other topics that they promote on their podcasts. And congratulations to them. What I'm saying though is that it is these kind of theories that I'm discussing are really out there. They're not mainstream, they're not easy to understand, therefore they're not as, I don't know, palatable to the general public, where people like Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins, you know, and they're salesmen. I'm going to cut the shit. They're salesmen. And look, I'm not saying that their ideas or theories or their podcasts have merit or don't. What I'm saying, though, is that they're a machine that they've created, and are they aligned to their original premise of just helping society in its entirety? I don't know, because I haven't spoken to them personally, so I don't know. I would say to you that the subjects that I'm talking about today are so vast and so complicated and so not hip or relatable that they don't fall under the same premise that people like Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins are trying to deliver. Therefore, people like myself are not heard in this whole conversation, because it's really out there, and people like, Roger Penrose and Stuart Hammeroff, respectively, don't get heard because, they're not good looking, or they're not hip, or they don't have the right things to say that kind of capture people's imaginations. Therefore, they just get lost in the minutia of this whole particular subject around quantum entanglement. And for me, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a physicist and I don't understand it in its entirety. And for me, there is things where I have particular ideas where I'm going to have to use particular platforms to create something that could align with the premise that I'm trying to deliver. This particular example truly does resonate with what I'm trying to get across in some interpretation, but it's not my interpretation in regards to consciousness. I want to be very clear here. My interpretation of consciousness and quantum entanglement is not what they're delivering. I don't know what mine is. It's in its entirety, but it's not this. It's very similar, but it's not the same. That's what I'm trying to get at. So there's that. So where was I at? While some other theories assert that consciousness emerges as the complexity of computations performed by cerebral neurons increases, OR persists that consciousness is based on non-computable quantum processing performed by qubits formed collectively on cellular macrotubules, a process significantly amplified in the neurons. The qubits are based on oscillating dupules forming superposed resonant rings in helical pathways throughout lattices of microtubules. I don't know, for me, I don't know what that looks like. I don't. I understand where they're getting. I don't know what. I'm not a physicist or biologist, so I don't know. The oscillations are either electric due to charge separation from London forces or magnetic due to spin, and possibly due to nuclear spins that can remain isolated for longer periods that occur in gigahertz, megahertz, or kilohertz frequency ranges. Orchestration refers to the hypothetical process by which connective protons such as microtubule-associated protons influence or orchestrate qubit state reduction by modifying the space-time separation of superposed states. The latter is based on Penrose's objective collapse theory for interpreting quantum mechanics, which postulates the existence of an objective threshold governing the collapse of quantum states related to the difference of space-time curvature of their states in the universe fine-scale structure. This is a lot. If you haven't ever thought about chemistry or physics or dealt with subjects that line or align under these particular subjects, what I've just talked about could sound like gobbledygook. And it does. It sounds a lot. And to me, it kind of makes sense. I don't know. I know where he's going with this, where they're going with this. I don't know, without going in depth into it, how they could prove any of this, because honestly, this is surmising. I really don't know how they could prove this theory that they're talking about. I really don't know. But if I was to then say to you that I am, this is very linear and very basic, that I am aware that certain hertz, if heard, can modify a person's state of reality in its. If we want to talk about, I'm going to talk about aura. I don't know how they would interpret aura, but also someone's electromagnetic field, that I do understand that you can listen to particular sounds that can affect that field, that then could harness connectivity to someone else's field. Don't ask me how you would even not only explain that, but provide complete and utter 100% evidence that that is a real phenomenon. I don't know. What I've just discussed is a theoretical discussion. I don't know how they would, or how they have provided supporting evidence to explain that that exists. I could say to you equivocally that listening to particular hertz in a particular state, like say relaxed or meditative state, or even in REM, which is even, we're going out there again, and again, I don't have any evidence to support this, could influence a person's state of entanglement to another person's field, may that be an electronic or electromagnetic field, like as in, if you want to call it your aura. If you want to go deeper than that, this is where we're going, and I want to go, your consciousness. So, yeah, this is, I don't know, this, like I said, I'm not a physicist. I don't want to, in any way, shape, or form, give a bum steer or sound like a fucking moron, because I feel like a moron in this. All I know is that I am very much compelled to understand my own theories around this in line with creating an application to then create a community of like-minded people. I don't know what that looks like. The more and more I think of it, the electromagnetic field around a mobile phone device would limit the connectivity that I'm wanting in regards to consciousness. Therefore, it would have to be, the app itself would be a conduit of a community of just talking, where a lot of it would be outside of that and just being just quiddity. So I don't know. I could have just lost you in this. I could have lost you in this whole conversation, to be honest. This to me is a this fascinates me, mate. I don't know how else to describe it. Quantum development or Q development is something that I right now am saying will be, I don't know, will be discussed, explored, and interpreted and explained moving forward in the next, I'd probably say, 20 years. I would say to you that when we talk about that sense of connection and community, it's clear that, to me, there is that consciousness that needs to be connected and separate to religion, because it's greater than that, in my understanding. So, yeah, I don't know how to more explain it than how I'm explaining it today. Suffice to say, I keep saying that I'm up for the challenge. Like I mentioned yesterday, I will start having a greater understanding of how to write code, how to use Python, how to use the IBM quantum computer and Qiskit to then enter the code that I'm using to try and create a platform, and the platform that I am thinking of, that I don't really understand what it looks like, but I'm going for it. Yeah. If there is anyone who listens to this podcast and understands a little bit of what I'm trying to theorize today, then I would truly appreciate you reaching out to me, because I don't understand it at all in its entirety. But I will say to you that this is, I know, for whatever reason, this is my soul work. I don't know, this might, for you, you'd be like, you just heard that, and you were like, you're an idiot. This is it. And yes, I have my life and I have I do have my life and the things I want to do in my life and things I want to learn, and I have my work and I have my human interactions and all of that. When I say to you that there is a purpose and there is a really deep, resonant soul purpose, this is it. So I don't know what this will look like, but from the perspective of my podcast and myself, Amanda Jeffrey, then I will say to you that I will complete a monthly, at least at the minimum, a monthly podcast around this particular subject. I will check in with you to tell you where I'm at. I will say to you today is the first day that this is something that I've I talked to you myself about this a long time, at least 2 years. This is something that I will create, or at least create the mechanisms to then create it. And I look forward to what this whole journey would be. That's it. Have I explained a lot? No. Next time after clearly I need to just write a point form explaining some of the drop points of quantum entanglement, as in quantum entanglement, superposition, resonance, juxtaposition. No, that's not part of it. There are certain things that I do need to explain in greater context. There's also where I just, for me personally, need to understand the mechanics of coding, because I've never done coding before, but I clearly know that I have to use the quantum computer to create the kind of platform that I'm thinking would be suitable for the level of consciousness entanglement that I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know, but it's so advanced and so fascinating and so interesting to my mind, and it hurts my mind, to be honest. It's that hard and I love it. So I'm really hoping that you will expand your mind. If you're listening to this podcast today or listen to future podcasts around this particular subject, you'll just sit and allow the expansiveness of your mind to even allow some of these diverse, complicated topics of conversation into your psyche, then perhaps it could be where you, once doing that, are able to, I don't know, create a light bulb moment where you might be able to answer some of the questions that I don't even know yet. And this is the thing, this is how exciting this is. So this is exciting to me. I am saying to you right now that I am locking in a minimum of a podcast a month around this particular subject. I will be creating an application. I will very likely explore and then I don't want to say promote, because that was the first word, but it's not about promotion or self-promotion at all. It's about using the knowledge that I then understand and interpret and then delivering it to the wider public. May that be through, just a resource article, or may that be through an actual book, novel, whatever. Yeah, this is just sideline life shit that somehow, I don't know how, one day it came to me and I just realised I had to work on it. And I've got nothing more to say than that's it. So I'm going to stop this podcast here today. This has been a very interesting podcast. A lot of it where I haven't really been able to explain some of the theory and ideals around the subjects that I'm leading into today. And I honestly feel like I don't need to, because if you're interested in this, then you will be comfortable as I am trying to learn to be comfortable, as in we got to learn together. So, if these subjects that I've talked about today, as in quantum development, interest you, then I would highly recommend you listen to my podcast. If you have anything that you would like to discuss, or if you could help me, or you're a physicist, or an anesthetist, that's a really hard word to say, by the way, then I would love you to reach out to me anytime at info@thetequilahour.com.au. You can reach out to me anytime through social platforms. So the platforms that I use primarily is Instagram, which is my pages being the Tequila Hour and also the one Amanda pages. And I also have corresponding YouTube pages of the same name as well. So if you want to contact me, you can. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And you know what? Here in Australia, in New South Wales, in Mannering Park, I hope you have an awesome day. I hope you have or have had an awesome weekend. And it is the 1st of June. Let's get it. Let's see where the next 20 years, and this I'm saying, it's going to take us a while to get to where I want to be. But mate, I'm up for it, and I hope you are too. So I'll catch you in the next one. See ya. Bye.